You cannot see light, nor you can touch it, but you can see by it means. It shines on the objects and people you are able to perceive. You don't appreciate light when it's outside and inside of you, but when it's gone, you start understanding what you lost. I was thinking about why people close curtains when they feel embarrassed, when they feel shame, why they try to hide something, and what exactly when you close curtains, you prevent light from coming in and from showing you what exactly you're doing by yourself in darkness. And also, what is the difference between private moments and shameful moments? The moments you embarrass to reveal the outside world, but also private moments like a prayer or making love to someone or just to be alone, or the shameful moments, the moments filled with impulses that you cannot control, that you give those control to your biology just to satisfy it. And we close the curtains. In some sense, some of us want to stay with God in privacy of its room, but some of us hide from God inside of the shame they drown themselves in. And the entire culture is built in some sense to make us feel unashamed of things that we should be ashamed of. And I know it by myself because I try many times to justify certain things about my life, but they still felt wrong and they still feel wrong. Doesn't matter how much reasoning I try to apply to those things, they didn't feel right no matter how hard I try. And why is that? Why can we reason with all our intelligence to justify some moments, some actions, something that you have to try to avoid? Because sin, it's missing the mark. And why you cannot see the sin itself? What sin does, it makes you feel different. It's divert you from the right way, and eventually you start slowly following the wrong way, one step at a time. It doesn't happen all at once, just one step at a time, and you try to keep curtains closed in your room as long as possible. And in the end, you just shut yourself inside your own sinful life. It's almost like the underground man in Dostoevsky's book. He was drowning, pickling inside of his own resentfulness. And it's funny because he was a very intelligent man. And intellect doesn't save you. And why so? Why, even if you're incredibly intelligent, you're still prone to drown inside your own corruption? Why you use intellect to justify your corruption, your sins, your actions that make you feel embarrassed? I was thinking about how people try to expose themselves, how they try to justify unjustifiable, how hard they try to scream about things that supposed to be stay in private, because it doesn't matter how many times you show your shame to the world, it's still gonna be shameful to show it. You're not gonna normalize it. It's an example of pride parades, for example. Now in America, in the West, they try to normalize shame. They try to normalize something that's not supposed to be normalized, that's supposed to be hidden inside of people's bedroom. It doesn't matter with whom you make love to. It shouldn't be open in the public, and it shouldn't be celebrated, because certain things shouldn't be celebrated. The celebration requires such an amount of achievements, something that hard to do. But if you celebrate your preference, your sexual preference, you make embarrassment out of this celebration. But coming back to the curtains and to the sin itself, we're closing curtains to prevent light, because light forces us to see. And I suddenly discovered another curtain that we have behind our closed curtains. And this curtains is our iPhones, because we can film our scenes, and those scenes stay on the record for eternity. And some people do this. They film their lovemaking for some reason. In some sense, they kill an intimacy of the moment, because this awareness of something that recording their intimacy destroy this intimacy. And this recording itself makes zero sense. I don't know, I think it's a feed in this narcissism, because it's like make love to someone in front of the mirror. You do not participate in the moment anymore. You observe yourself doing something, and it amplifies such an corruption within you, but it's push you away, farther away from the intimacy of the moment itself. And when you use the phone, right, like for example, use your iPhone to record this, you even push yourself even farther, because you stop being fully participate in the moment. That's another thing I'm against iPhones, when people take them and film the most beautiful moment of their life, because in some sense they distance themselves from the beautiful moment while recording it. And if you record it, it means you don't trust your own eyes, you don't trust your own memories, and you don't trust your own feelings to feel it right now, right in the moment. Nobody is gonna watch those things. They're not interested to no one. Because I know by myself, when you see the beautiful moment and when you try to record this beautiful moment on your iPhone, and then you watch after this moment on the video, it doesn't look right. It doesn't have this feeling anymore, because you are the one who feel the moment, and you are the one who see the moment. And the feeling and seeing create such an amount of intimacy. In some sense, you create love making with the moment itself. It's like mental love making of the beautiful moment that you try to integrate into your own psyche and remember for the rest of your life. And this is worthy memories. It will stay with you for a long time. And recording on your iPhone doesn't do no good, because you just recording something superficial. There's no way to record the feeling itself. When you record something on your iPhone, you turn the moment of intimacy, the moment of something beautiful, into a superficial image that actually bore you in the end. And coming back to the curtains and the way we shut ourselves from the world during our shame, I think why in the first thing we experience this shame? Why we have this thing within us? Because if life only biology, why would we have shame? We would just live like almost like animals, because animals don't feel shame. Animals just live according to their biological bodies. Why do we feel shame? What is something within us that stop us from doing certain things? And we try to push it. Many times I try to reason myself with this idea, and I tried to debunk it. I thought I'm better, smarter than that, but it doesn't work. It's always you coming back always to some embarrassment and to some shame. And when you prevent yourself from doing something bad, you actually feel different. And when you in control of your biology, this absolute control of your biology helps you to be less embarrassed for your existence. And once you feel less embarrassed for your existence, you actually start living for real, because life itself is the ability to wrestle your way out of your biological existence towards something that will live even after your biology dies. And I know there's no way to prove the existence of God, and I don't know by myself 100% if it's true, but if you take the light analogy, that light itself you don't see, but you see by its means, because it shows you the world, and it shows you yourself, and it shows you the way. Maybe God, in some sense, it's something that shows you who you are, your self-awareness. And through this self-awareness, you see the world and you see the meaning inside of that world. Because how you can find the meaning if you're absolutely biological creature? How exactly you identify the meaning inside the world? And how exactly you find the right path? Because as Ivan Karamazov said in Brothers Karamazov, if there is no God, everything is allowable. And if there is no God, I'm God. What exactly would stop you to become God, to feel like God? And we had this a lot of time in our history when a lot of dictators proclaimed themselves as God and kill millions upon millions of people. My point is, we have to be very careful playing this game. Life is more complicated, and closed curtains sometimes protect your privacy, but often they trick you into sin because you think nobody will see you. I was thinking about, I read somewhere in one of the Jewish books that when Adam committed sin with Eve, when he took a bite from the apple, he was running away and tried to hide from God. And God asked Adam, "Where are you?" And I was reading commentary to this idea, and God knew where Adam was. The problem is Adam didn't know himself where he was in that moment after he committed this sin. I think the more sins we commit, the less we know ourselves, and maybe closing these curtains constantly while committing sins, while doing something embarrassing, will less understand ourselves. And with less understanding of ourselves, we know less who we are and what we are capable of. Because in some sense, you let darkness inside of you, and this darkness grows slowly but steady, one step at a time, and eventually it traps you inside the prison of fear. Because that's what sins do to you. They misdirect you from the right path, and when you go on the wrong path for a long time, eventually you completely losing yourself, and without yourself there's no way to make a proper sacrifice, and without making proper sacrifice there's no way to find the meaning of your life, and therefore you, in some sense, you just abandon your life and turn your life into existence of an animal. And what you do, you spend the rest of your days just satisfying your bodily impulses, forgetting that you have soul, forgetting that you have mind, and forgetting that you're self-aware, and the observer observes you, but with a less accuracy as it used to, because every time when you commit a sin, your observer gets farther and farther away from you. Because I think God is the ultimate observer of your own observer, but once you put yourself inside of darkness, your observer doesn't see you anymore. Maybe it's perceived you not as accurately as it should. And that's what I think the point when Adam was running away from God. God knew where he was. The problem is Adam didn't know where he was. And often that's, I think, happens to us. We close the curtains for too many times that often we keep curtains closed permanently, and therefore we stop knowing where are we, because we stop the light in. And when there's no light inside our room or inside of us, we live in a permanent darkness. And what happened to us? We forgot who we are, and we don't know and don't believe anymore that there's meaning of life.